The wife of my husband's boss took the food that my daughter made and claimed it as hers, so I called her out for her lies and she walked out crying. Last night, we attended my husband's first Christmas party with his new employer. He's been in the same field for decades, so I was familiar with a few attendees. I had never met his boss or his wife, Andrea, and I knew little about her. Side story, my daughter, Willow, is a great cook. She has worked at the same bank for 7 years, so they have gotten to know her food and often make special requests. This year, they requested her bruschetta and crostini. A couple of co-workers asked her to make a larger batch since it disappeared at last year's Christmas potluck. The following day, she took it to work. However, half an hour before the party, she called me crying because someone had taken it from their fridge. She wasn't crying because the food was gone. She was crying because she served it in a dish hand-painted by her sister. It was a trumpeter swan dish that I loved very much. I consoled her and suggested it might turn up eventually. Inside, I was crushed. Back to our party. I'm enjoying my second glass of Merlot and getting to know a few people when I decide it's best to get something to eat so I don't get buzzed. Everyone is raving about the boss's dish, bruschetta and crostini. She can't cook and usually buys something, so this is a surprise to them. I am curious to see if it's better than Willow's recipe, so I grabbed some from my trumpeter swan dish. I walked over to the dish and turned to a friend of mine, Julie, pointing out the dish and sharing its origin. She suggested there might be more than one, and I shook my head. It's handmade. Look at the bottom. By this time, Andrea had walked over to us. I turned to her. Do you work at US Bank? She nodded. I don't recognize you. Are you a customer? No, I'm Willow's mother. You broke her heart today. I pointed to the dish. Her face flooded with color. Andrea defended herself. There are tons of those dishes out there, Julie said. Andrea, this is hand-painted. She lifted it over her head. By now, there were 4 other women around us. Jade Denali 2009. Andrea opened her mouth, but nothing came out. She burst into tears and left the room. Her husband followed her shortly thereafter, effectively ending the party. At home, my husband yelled at me for confronting her in front of everyone. He thinks I should have discreetly confronted her and asked for my dish back rather than doing it publicly. I yelled back that she had no consideration for how she made Willow feel when the dish disappeared, so I returned the favor. He yelled that I might have compromised his job. I yelled back that his boss married a cheap-ass thief, and if he didn't know it before, he does now. If the boss sides with his wife and makes my husband pay, it's not a job worth keeping. This morning, his boss isn't at work. He took a vacation until the new year, and I am not looking forward to tonight. Was I the a-hole? Update. My husband just called and told me his boss and Andrea would like to meet tonight. I am seriously sick to my stomach right now.